Tiger Brands has pledged to cover urgent medical expenses for those who were affected by the 2017 Listeriosis outbreak, which claimed over 200 lives. The company faces estimated damages of 1.5 billion to 2.5 billion rand in ongoing legal proceedings. Now, despite no final court verdict on liability, Tiger Brands is engaging with victim representatives to reach a settlement. And for more on this matter, we're joined virtually now by attorney at Richard Spoor Incorporated Attorneys, Zeenat Emmamally, who is of course there for us. Zeenat, good morning and welcome to Morning Live.
Morning. Thank you for having me.
So first off, can you just confirm for us that there was a proposal received from Tiger Brands to the affected families for interim benefits to the group of claimants?
So what we can confirm at this stage is that on 30th of October, we received a proposal from the attorneys for the insurers for Tiger Brands, offering to pay some of the medical bills or the urgent medical bills for some clients, yes.
So any terms and conditions attached to that, Zeenat?
We're still in negotiations for this aspect. We are pushing to have all kids with urgent needs to be given some kind of relief from Tiger Brands, but we are in ongoing settlement discussions on that.
And this situation is our question of the day as well, and what's coming through from many of our viewers as well. They're asking, given that Tiger Brands is making this offer now to cover urgent medical needs, why did it take so long, over 6 years, to get to this point? And do you think that this timing is strategic in light of recent financial issues?
So, this is the question we've been asking all along. We've been providing Tiger Brands with information on the health consequences that people who contracted listeriosis are suffering from. And we don't understand why it's taken 6 years to get to this point. We do think, however, it's not coincidental that, we had a media campaign in the last month on the instruction of our clients, and now we are getting public statements that they are willing to engage with us.
And is this offer in any way binding legally, or you did say you're still in negotiation, but is it just a promise? Could this mean that the victims will have to wait even longer for other tangible relief in this case?
Unfortunately, that is the case. This is just an offer. There's nothing agreed, nothing final yet, and it is without any liability. So Tiger Brands is not willing to admit at this stage that it is responsible for the outbreak or for people who got sick during the outbreak. It's just willing to offer at this stage for some people to cover urgent bills.
Which is very interesting in and of itself, Zeenat, because if Tiger Brands as they have continually done, denied any sort of liability for the listeriosis outbreak. From your perspective then, how do these so-called without prejudice negotiations then fit in with a company that claims to not be responsible for the outbreak, but they are willing to cover urgent medical costs? How do you reconcile all of that?
So I think what's important to note is that after Tiger Brands closed its facility, it publicly announced that, the type of listeriosis that was going around at the time, they found themselves in their products. So they have admitted in their legal papers that, yes, we had this type of listeriosis in our products. Yes, we made some people sick. And this is 6 years later, and not a single person has been compensated.
And what are they saying? What is the reason for that? Because, again, now you're offering to pay urgent medical costs, but at the same time, not really willing to take accountability for what had happened. So, it's confusing, to say the least.
It's confusing, to us as well. The evidence against Tiger Brands is overwhelming. The National Institute for Communicable Diseases investigated facilities throughout the country and didn't find this type of listeriosis in any other facility but Tiger Brands. So we think that there's just no way to avoid liability in this case. And if Tiger Brands was a responsible company, a responsible corporation, it would be accepting liability.
How have the victims coped since 2017? Because it's been a long time. And if we're only talking about paying for urgent legal costs now, what is the sort of suffering that people have had to endure in these past 6 years, Zeenat?
You know, the kinds of consequences that we're seeing is just, it's devastating. We have children who are paralyzed with brain damage. We have one of the complications we're seeing is, children who have cognitive delays, who have digestive problems, eyesight issues, hearing issues, such a wide spectrum of health consequences. And unfortunately, the case for many of our clients is that they can't afford specialist medical treatment in order to see exactly the extent of what their children are suffering. So, they've been coping as best they can, but they really do need urgent relief.
And with the pre-trial preparation still underway and a trial date as of yet uncertain, do you think that Tiger Brands' recent statement will actually help in speeding up the legal process at the very least, Zeenat?
Look, we're hoping so. We're hoping they're ready to speed things up. They said that they are, but we have not yet received any expert reports from them, any indication from them that this type of listeriosis was found anywhere else. We simply don't know what the delay is.
And we are talking here about over 1,000 victims. How many victims exactly do you have on your books?
We have well over 1,000. It would be children who were diagnosed with listeriosis and their mothers who were linked and ate the product as well. So we have well over 1,000, some that the Department of Health didn't detect either.
And what sort of support or resources do you believe are necessary for these victims at this stage until a full settlement is reached?
So definitely, specialist assessment, which our clients, most of them cannot afford, either for themselves or for their children. There would be, kids who need special schools. There is assistive devices that would be necessary. So quite a range of both medical and social intervention is needed for our clients.
Zeenat, at this stage, expectations from Tiger Brands, what are the victims asking for? Obviously, there's the monetary compensation given what has happened to them. But I would imagine an apology, at the very least, an admission of responsibility. But what are the victims saying? What do they want?
It's interesting. After Tiger Brands released the statement saying that they're willing to offer, medical assistance for urgent cases, we have clients coming out to us and saying, Tiger Brands killed my sister, killed her unborn baby. They should not come out of this looking like a hero. This is 6 years too late.
And again, you can't bring back a life, but we are hearing about, compensation to the tune of 1.5 to 2.5 billion rand. Is that correct again? And again, response from Tiger Brands, because this is seemingly where things go haywire, where we can't seem to have a linear sort of path tracking what is going on between victim and, of course, the alleged perpetrator.
Yeah, look, we are estimating it would be between 1.5 and 2.5 billion rand. There is no offer from Tiger Brands on a total quantum. We don't know how many people they're willing to finally settle at this stage, or if at all. So these are just estimations that we are giving, but there is no final agreement at all.
Yeah. And of course, we did try to reach out to Tiger Brands, and we will continue to do so. But in terms of where the legal case is and also this latest offer, where to next, Zeenat?
So, we'll continue negotiations with the attorneys for the insurers regarding any possible settlement or interim relief or something that they're willing to offer clients at this stage. But in parallel, we will be pushing ahead with the trial to get a finding of liability, that Tiger Brands is liable for making over 1,000 people sick and killing over 200 people.
Well, we'll leave it there. Thank you so much, Zeenat Emmamally, who's attorney at Richard Spoor Incorporated Attorneys, and speaking to us there about Tiger Brands, engaging them with the aim of agreeing on some form of relief for certain claimants with urgent medical needs. We did extend an invitation to Tiger Brands, but they declined to comment, but issued a statement, and that statement reads as follows. Now, they say that since the decision of the Supreme Court of Appeal was handed down on the 4th of February 2022, the parties have continued with pre-trial preparations, including the discovery of documents and records relevant to the class action as required in terms of the rules of court, in order to get the matter ready for trial for the court to determine liability. A trial date will be allocated by court once all these pre-trial preparations have been fully attended to, and as part of an overall endeavour to expedite the resolution of the class action in January 2023, the attorneys are representing the company and its insurers, the company's attorneys and the plaintiff's attorneys, Richard Spoor Incorporated, jointly approached the National Institute for Communicable Diseases, that's the NICD, for access to their records relevant to the listeriosis outbreak. Now, these records are vital to a determination of liability. In January 2024, the NICD released the so-called FASTQ files with some data relating to their investigation of the listeriosis outbreak to the plaintiff's attorney. The files were shared with the company's attorneys in February 2024 for review by the appointed experts. Now, the experts' review of the data is at an advanced stage but remains ongoing, and the company's attorneys have engaged with the plaintiff's attorneys with a view to agreeing on relief to qualifying individuals who have urgent medical needs, regardless of the fact that liability has not yet been determined. Now, in addition, the legal representatives are engaging on measures to arrive at a speedier resolution for the class action overall. And the company is committed to working diligently to bring the listeriosis class action to a close as speedily as possible. And the company has product liability insurance cover appropriate for a group of its size, and coverage is subject to the terms and limits of the policy. And that was a statement that was released by Werner Oberholzer, Corporate Communications Director at Tiger Brands. And that was their response, that statement that Tiger Brands released. We heard there from Richard Spoor Attorneys Incorporated, and they represent the victims. So we will be keeping a watch on this particular story, and it is, of course, also the focus of our question of the day this morning. So let us know your thoughts.